Welcome back. Last week I was on a call with the leaders in Miami in Christoph's office. Now, Christoph starts at 8 o'clock in the morning, so here I am on a 5 a.m. call. I tried to be sharp on that call. I certainly hope I was. And the leaders asked a great question. They're like, hey, how can we be successful with our emotions? So the topic of emotions came up, and so I want to start off by saying, listen, first of all, it's not a bad thing to be emotional. I mean, last time I checked, none of us are AI robots. We're all humans. So we're going to feel emotions. We're going to go through ups and downs emotionally. And so, again, I don't think it's such a bad thing to be emotional. We just need to make sure that our central control systems, right, our hearts, are in a good place. So the question is, can we align our heads and our hearts so we can be successful? That's really, how I look at it. And so, I reflect obviously of what it was like being in the field. I mean, they always talked about the high rollers in the office, and I felt like a high roller coaster. I'd start the day off, okay, I can do this. I'm ready. Let's attack the day. No. Oh, gee, this territory's a little tough. No. Oh, this campaign's a little tough. No. Do I even really want to be in the business? No. Is money even really that important? No. Listen, I'm thinking of quitting. I'm out of here. Yes. A little yes pops on the radar. Oh man, I can do this. I'm going to be an owner. I'm going to be successful in this business. I mean, it was an emotional roller coaster. And so the way I've described how to really master the field, I'm going to refer to this chart here. You've got to just maintain a great attitude throughout the day as time is going on. You've got to keep that attitude where it needs to be at a 10 out of a 10 so you can just succeed and find those blips, find the yeses throughout the territory. I just found so many times I'd go through the field, and by the time I met the person that was supposed to say yes, because I was engaging them with a 5 out of a 10 attitude, or I'm just a little down, I'm just not feeling great about myself or feeling great about what I'm doing, of course they say no because I'm not at a 10 out of a 10. You can't pitch people at a 5 out of a 10 or a 2 out of 10. You got to be at your best when you're engaging with customers. So that's really how you master the field. You've controlled, positive attitude. You've figured out a way to maintain that positive attitude all throughout the day, through the ups and downs, through the yeses and the nos. That's how you really succeed in the field. So I want to start off by really asking the question, hey, why are you emotional? I think that's a great place to start. And there's really 3 things that I noticed, when I'd feel emotional. The first one was an obvious one. It was always the same time of day that I'd be irritable. In other words, I was hangry. It was always right before lunch where just my tolerance of dealing with maybe, tricky situations, my tolerance was just not that high. And I'm like, oh, it must be time for lunch here real soon. So are you hungry? Are you getting the right nourishment in your body, right? I mean, your physical being can many times really control the emotional. And so, are you properly fed? Are you hungry? I mean, that could be one of the reasons you're feeling emotional. The second one I noticed is, are you tired? Are you fatigued? Were you up too late the night before? Did you have a restless sleep? So are you really getting sufficient rest is a great question. And the third thing I noticed is, do you have a sounding board? Do you have a place you can go to where you can bounce your thoughts, your emotions, just kind of do a dump? Can you dump on somebody? That could even be a journal. Can you dump in a journal? But you got to get your thoughts out of your head. Otherwise, you can be kind of stuck. So maybe that's a good place to start. Again, why are you emotional when you're feeling it? Are you hungry? Are you tired? Do you have a sounding board? So let's start with that place. Once I've diagnosed, why I'm emotional. Okay, let's just, again, start there. Like, why am I feeling these emotions? Well, then I want to have some rules to live by when it comes to emotions. And I've come up with five things I've really thought through on, hey, these are like rules I need to live by when I'm dealing with emotions to make sure that my head and my heart are aligned. Okay, so here it goes. So rule number one, I don't want to make decisions when I'm emotional. That's not the time to be making decisions. Or what I've seen people make career-ending decisions based on emotions. One hard no, it's like, you know what? The decision's been made, I'm out. I don't want to make big decisions in my life when I'm feeling emotional. So I just defer, I'll punt the decisions some other time when I'm not feeling so many emotions. Let me just keep dealing with what I'm dealing with, but I'm going to make decisions later when I've had a chance to really think through and align my head and my heart. The second rule, similar to the first, avoid big decisions, avoid crucial conversations when you're emotional. Listen, anybody who's got a boyfriend, girlfriend, married, listen, chances are high when you're emotional, you're going to say something that you regret. Okay? You're going to pick a fight, or you're going to just say something really stupid, something you probably don't mean. So avoid the crucial conversations when you're emotional. The third rule I have is go get a little win. Okay? Think back to that emotional roller coaster I was describing. So listen, if you know you're on the way down, you've got to look for the little win where you can stop the slump and start the uptrend here. Go get a little win. So there's an age-old question of, what comes first, confidence or competence? Kind of like, hey, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? And we can debate that till we're blue in the face. But what really comes first, confidence or competence? The two kind of go hand in hand. Well, if I can get the competence, if I can get the little dub, my confidence will follow it. So if you really want to build your confidence, go get those little wins, okay? It'll help you with your emotions. It'll help you feel better about yourself. It could be the smallest little win. In the field, it could be something as simple as get a smile from a customer. Get all the way through a pitch with a customer. Just get a little win, and those little wins will turn into much bigger wins. I love this fourth rule. This is something I live by. When motivation is absent, discipline must take over. Okay, obviously we work hard on keeping ourselves motivated. It's my responsibility to make sure that I'm motivated. I'm a self-starter. I'm self-motivated. Isn't this the minimal requirement for every entrepreneur? Yes. But again, we're humans. We're not AI robots. So motivation will be gone sometimes, and when that happens, see you later, motivation, discipline takes over. I just want to read a quote from Stephen Covey. I've marinated on this quite a few times over my career. Only the disciplined are truly free. The undisciplined are slaves to moods, appetites, and passions. The successful person has formed the habit of doing things that failures don't like to do. Successful people don't like doing them either necessarily, but their dislike is subordinated by the strength of their purpose. So amazing things happen when you don't feel like doing something and you fight through those emotions. Again, you're not motivated, you fight through that, your discipline fights through that. Amazing things happen to your confidence where you're like, man, I didn't think at the beginning of the day that I could do it, but I found a way to do it, and boy, do I feel like $1 million. I feel like that every time I go to the gym. I don't feel like going, but then after a great workout, I'm like, I'm the man. I went out there and I destroyed those weights. I destroyed that treadmill. So when motivation is absent, discipline must take over. My fifth and final rule is this: direct the physical and let the emotional follow. If you think about it, your physical being and your emotional being are intertwined. They're not so separate, they're intertwined. And usually the emotions, run free and then the physical follows. Think about this. When you're feeling down or you're depressed or you're sad, you start to slump, you start to look down. Years ago I had this rep, Simon, on my team who had a cricket ball with him. He'd walk in between doors and he'd always throw this cricket ball up in the air. I finally asked him, like, Simon, why are you doing that? Why are you throwing around this ball? And he says, Jamie, if you've ever noticed, people that are depressed or people that are sad, they tend to look down. So by throwing this ball up in the air, I keep my chin up. And by keeping my chin up, I keep my attitude up. So I thought, Simon, that's pretty genius. So here's how Carnegie puts it in the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I thought, that book is obviously awesome. There's a whole chapter in there on smiling. I remember before I read the whole chapter, I'm like, man, this dude wrote like 30 pages on smiling. I mean, how much material could there possibly be? But I want to give you this little snidbit here. You don't feel like smiling, then what? Two things. First, force yourself to smile. If you are alone, force yourself to whistle or hum or sing a tune. Act as if you are already happy, and that will tend to make you happy. Action seems to follow feelings, but really action and feeling go together. And by regulating the action, which is under the more direct control of the will, we can indirectly regulate the feeling, which is not. Oh, how interesting is that? So again, control the physical and let the emotions follow. I tried this experiment with my dogs years ago. So I remember, my little dog Muskie, he's laying by my lap and he's calm, he's chilling, nothing's going on. I started just wagging his tail, okay? I just started moving his tail around. He's sort of waking up and he's getting excited thinking that he's going to get some kind of treat or we're going to go for a walk or something like that. I'm like, oh, isn't it interesting? I start wagging his tail and he gets excited. It's not like he got excited and then started wagging his tail. So listen, wag your tail, control the physical and your emotions will follow. I think that's just a genius way. And again, Carnegie noticed this 100 years ago. So I think we all might want to take note of that. So really, I want to end this with really a quote from John Maxwell. I think this is very interesting. He says, unsuccessful people wait to feel good before they take action. Successful people take action and then they feel good. So regardless of how you're feeling, really the key is you got to take action. You got to be in that zone to do and then really control the emotions after that. So those are my tips for all of you in Miami, for all of you guys watching right now. Those are my tips on how to really deal with emotions. Again, I don't think emotions are bad. I just want to make sure that my heart and my head are aligned. Okay, I want to make sure my brain and my heart are aligned. So again, I can successfully deal with my emotions.